All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a book that's kind of one part cozy romance, one part paranormal soap opera, and, well, apparently one part awkward comedy. We are pulling back the curtain on an unfiltered review of Lila Sage's new novel, Soul Searching. I mean, listen to this premise, right? You've got a ghost whisperer who can't whisper to ghosts anymore, who then meets this super awkward but sweet guy in a town that's just crawling with spirits. You just don't see that every day, and, it really sets the stage for something wonderfully weird. So, the big question? What's the final score? The reviewer landed on a pretty solid 3.5 out of 5. But, and this is a big but, they admit they rounded it up to a 4. Why? For sheer effort, and for the horny ghosts. And yes, you absolutely heard that right. We will get to that, I promise.
Okay, so let's break it down. This is the first book in the Sweetwater Peak duology. It's from the New York Times best-selling author Lila Sage, who you might already know from her Rebel Blue Ranch series. But this time, she's trading in the cowboys for some ghosts.
All right, let's talk about the setup here. We've got ghosts, we've got small-town gossip, and we've got this guy named Brady. So, how does this quirky little mix actually work when you put it all together on the page?
So I absolutely love how the reviewer broke this down. They've got the whole plot mapped out in 3 acts, and the titles are just perfect. Act 1 is called Bugger Me, There Are Ghosts, which is when our hero, Collins, a ghost whisperer with no powers, comes back home. Act 2, Brady's Got Baggage, is where she meets our awkward city boy, and bam, you've got forced proximity and a whole lot of ghost chaos, which all leads to Act 3, Small Town Hijinks, where the two of them are dealing with hauntings, family secrets, and, of course, their own romance.
And really, the heart of the story is the dynamic between our two leads. On one side, you have Collins. She's described as this tattooed, sarcastic, anxious mess who's totally lost her mojo. And then there's Brady. He's the awkward city guy, but he's also a total cinnamon roll hero with that classic golden retriever energy. It is that perfect grumpy meets sunshine vibe that really drives the whole story forward.
Okay, time for the really juicy stuff. We've got the setup, we've met the characters, so what actually worked? And what, well, kind of didn't. This is the unfiltered breakdown.
So, on the what worked list, the reviewer loved the whole ghost town concept. The banter is apparently fantastic, super witty and real. And of course, the dynamic between Collins and Brady is a huge win, along with the scene-stealing old guy named Boone. But on the other side of the coin, the paranormal stuff is, and I'm quoting here, fluffier than a Lamington. So the ghosts are there for laughs, not scares. A few plot points also get wrapped up way too fast, and apparently some of the spicy scenes go from steamy to just kind of weird.
You want to get a real taste of the romance in this book? The reviewer pulled this one line from Collins that just sums it up. It's, "I wonder if every decision I've ever made was leading me to you." Yeah, it's what they called peak romantic cheese. And honestly, they're not wrong. But they also say it totally works. It just shows that even with all the chaos, these really earnest moments are what make you root for them. Okay, so before you dive in, a quick heads up on a few things. First off, that cute cover, don't let it fool you completely. The reviewer points out that some of the spicy scenes might have you going, "Wait, what?" instead of swooning. The book also gets into some heavier themes like depression and self-sabotage, especially with Collins' character. And just one more time for good measure, if you're looking for horror, this ain't it. The ghosts are for banter, not for scares.
So after all of that, the big question remains, should you read it? We've gone through the good, the bad, and the ghostly. Let's get to the final takeaway.
All right, this book is probably going to be your new favorite if you're just plain bored with the same old romance tropes. If you love quirky small-town drama, and the reviewer's comparison is Gilmore Girls meets BuzzFeed Unsolved, which is brilliant, or if you're a sucker for that reluctant medium plus cinnamon roll hero dynamic, this is for you. And of course, if you're already a Lila Sage fan, it's a no-brainer.
Now, who might want to sit this one out? Well, the review suggests you might want to skip it if you're genuinely looking for a horror story that'll keep you up at night, because this won't. Also, if spicy scenes aren't your thing, where if you need a really deep, slow-burn plot to stay interested, this book's faster pace might just not be for you. So just to give you a little context, where does this book fit in with everything else out there? Think of it this way. Compared to Sage's other series, Rebel Blue Ranch, this is like the weird, ghosty cousin. It's not as emotional or magic-heavy as, say, Cemetery Boys, and it's not as much of a straight-up witchy rom-com as the X-Hex. It's really got its own thing going on. Witty, cozy, and yeah, just a little bit haunted.
So, at the end of the day, what's the takeaway? This is a book for when you want something fun, something a little different, something you can just devour. It's messy, it's got a lot of heart, and it's totally, unapologetically strange. And that brings us to the reviewer's last question, which is kind of perfect, actually. Would you let a ghost set you up on a date? Something to think about.